Are you looking for a Telecaster that can do everything from country to blues and rock and modern metal? Then look no further, my friends, because today we're going to be checking out the Fender American Professional 2 Telecaster. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. If you'd like to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell, and also be sure to check out my band Spiritual Chaos if you haven't yet already. Now, let's get into the review. Before I proceed further, if you guys would rather not hear about specs or hear the story of how I accumulated this guitar, then I will attach below a timestamp that you could skip to in case you didn't want to hear about any of that and just wanted to get right to the demo clips. Either which way, I will not be offended. So it all started out in the middle of last year of 2024 when I was thinking to myself, what kind of guitar could I get to diversify from all the shred and metal guitars that I have that are all like basically humbuckers, because I needed a different, I wanted to experiment with different pickup configurations and just different styles. And along with diversifying myself and wanting to as a musician in the works, I thought, why not get it like a Telecaster? And this is a guitar that I used to not gel with, and that's because many Telecasters have a very fat, shaped neck, like a 50s type of neck where it's like very bulky and fat, and that's never been my cup of tea. However, it wasn't until I stepped into a Replay Guitar Exchange that I saw this one. And the neck on this thing, although not like a shredder's neck, it's still round like a Telecaster, but it's a lot thinner, and it just feels nice in your hands where, even though you could shred on it if you really wanted to, it doesn't make you want to shred, but it still feels like a traditional Tele. And I wanted something that would have that old school mojo, because it's like every time you look at a Tele, it's almost like you think of like an American made guitar. And I wanted something that would have that passion behind it. And this one has been really phenomenal in every way, shape, or form. A lot of it being with the specs of it having the ashtray bridge still, but with compensated bullet saddles for better intonation while still having that old school Tele twang and mojo. You still have the single coil pickups. You also have this with when it goes into the middle position, you almost can emulate somewhat of a humbucker if you really wanted to, even though I bought it for the single coil purposes and the twang. And you have this nice neck heel right here that's sculpted and has a nice bevel to it, and it feels so comfy for a young modern player like myself that wants to experiment but still feel comfortable and not feel like I'm fighting with the guitar constantly. And the neck just has this nice satin feel to it. I don't even know how to put it in the words or how to measure it, but it feels so good on the hands. And of course, just bending and doing all sorts of, vibrato is just a lot of fun with this guitar. I never gave Teles really the credit that they truly deserved, but I've always respected them. I just never realized how versatile that they can truly be. Before we get into how this guitar sounds, I want to let you guys know that I will be going directly into my Neural DSP Quad Cortex, directly into my DAW. Now, let's hear how this guitar sounds. guys can see, besides how awesome the guitar feels in the hands, every sound and every tone that you can get with all the, positions and, buttons and rolling off the volume and tone knob, everything is just usable. And that's what I love about a guitar. A Tele is a very simple guitar, but it's a less is more type of guitar where it's like, it doesn't have like all these bells and whistles, but it compensates for all the, use that you get out of everything, like quality over quantity, in other words. Before I get into my final thoughts on this guitar, I want to first talk about the pros and cons as we speak. As for the pros, the fit and finish is absolutely incredible. Fender is absolutely killing it. It's just an impeccable finish that's just absolutely breathtaking. And every time I pick up this guitar, it just looks so inspiring. The neck is also super comfortable. It's not sticky at all. It's a nice satin neck that's just fast, but not too fast. It just has a very relaxed type of feel, but it's like you could sweat on this thing, but you don't have to worry about it sticking to you and holding you back. Also, the playability is great. The pickups sound awesome. You also have the compensated brass saddles, and my favorite pro also being the fact that you have this really cool bevel at the back that's sculpted for the upper fret access. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention it does come with a case as well, a hard shell case. Despite how awesome the quality of this instrument is though, I do have to speak about some cons that I think you guys should be aware of. Before I get into the con that I do want you guys to be aware of, please be wary that I am not dogging on Fender or putting them down in any way. I absolutely love them as a company and I think they did a phenomenal job on this guitar, but with every pro and con being out there, I do want to point this out to you because I know some people might be a little anal about this, but there are some minor tool marks on the upper fret access of the fretboard here. It's nothing major. I think honestly most people can live with it, but I only point this out because this is not a cheap guitar. I think it retails around for $1,800 to $2,000 brand new. That being said, I don't think it's a deal breaker personally. I'm a little more forgiving on that because I understand no guitar is perfect, but I do understand that when you're paying a high price like that, you do expect near perfection or perfection. But I gotta say, everything else though is in pristine condition, and the gloss or lacquer job that they did on the fretboard, honestly, it looks absolutely killer. And the other con being too that it does not come with locking tuners, so it's not a deal breaker at all. This is just stuff that's very much nitpicky. The stock tuners that are the Fender tuners on the headstock are great and work great, but if you did want to upgrade to the Fender locking tuners, which I personally did on mine, it's only $60, and I don't think that's bad. And truthfully, I'd say that this guitar is one of Fender's best on the market right now. Overall, I'd give this guitar a 9.5 out of 10 guitar picks. This guitar is absolutely near impeccable, and I highly recommend it to anyone, whether they're a Tele guy or they're not, whether they're a country player or they're not. Honestly, I didn't think I was gonna like this guitar or I would ever resonate with a Tele as someone who likes the Ernie Ball Music Man stuff or the Ibanez or the Schecter stuff. But this is one exception for me as a metal guy. And it does everything I need it to do. It could do thrash metal, it could do country, it could do blues, it could probably even do jazz if you really wanted to. It really can do so much and the feel is just right. It's just, the neck is super comfortable and that bevel on the upper fret axis, I could go on for days about that. It's such a lifesaver. And although this is not a cheap guitar, when you compare it to other Telecasters that are American made, that are going for in the 3,000s, if not more, especially even vintage ones that don't even have these type of specs, I think this is an amazing compromise and you're still getting to play it with American pride. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. I'm Anthony DeFilio, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.